Yeah, Associate Director, Electrochemical Systems at UTRC.
Okay, great. So remember, you're just gonna look right at
Yep.
me the whole
Okay,
time.
all right.
All right, so give us a little bit of your background, Mike. How long have you been at UTRC and what drew you here?
All right, I've been here at I've been at UTRC for 10 years now. Been with UTC about 20 years. Before UTRC, I was at the former UTC Fuel Cells. And what drew me to UTRC was to be able to work on a range of technologies, not just fuel cells, but to use my knowledge from the former UTC Fuel Cells and apply them in other fields, other electrochemical technologies.
Gotcha. All right, so we need you looking right here because
Okay.
you're looking back and forth.
Yep.
And it'll look really odd on camera
Okay,
if
all right.
you're looking at the camera and then
All right.
away. You know
Yep,
what I mean?
yep.
So if you can, just look right here. All right, so tell us about what is the award your team won and what did you win it for?
Yeah, so this award's for the co-development of a advanced flow battery system with our partners Vionics Energy, which is a startup company that was actually created to commercialize this technology that was invented here at UTRC. The great thing about this award, in my opinion, is that we've been working closely with this company for 5 years now. They're up in Woburn, Mass, in the Boston area, but it's a seamless team. We respond to their needs, and the UTRC team is able to bring the skill sets that our partners Vionics need to make a commercial system, and they have now developed a production intent commercial system that they are installing up in the field with a solar farm to store solar energy and put it back on the grid with our flow battery technology.
Excellent, excellent. All right, so give us sort of the before and after. So before there was this problem with blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then this solution is now making it better because of.
Okay, so we actually started working on flow batteries 10 years ago. In 2009, we went into the lab, and the motivation was that we had recognized early on that there was a need for long duration, large scale energy storage, meaning big batteries the size of a building to store massive amounts of energy, like for wind turbines and solar farms. Flow batteries were an existing technology, but they weren't commercially viable, primarily because of cost. So we had some concepts, and they were nothing more than that. In 2009, we went in the lab. It was just a concept, a gleam in the eye, if you will. And in 10 years, we've transformed that into a product, with our partners, Vionics Energy. And the other thing I like to say is that, we went into the lab to do flow batteries, and nobody on the team had ever worked on flow batteries before. So, UTRC has the skill sets you need to do something like that, right? To take it from a concept and to go into the lab and create capabilities that you don't even have as a company, and to develop a new thing, a very innovative thing that was transformative to the cost of flow batteries, which is why we were successful in scaling this up and working on commercialization with Vionics.
Excellent, excellent. Tell us, if you can, what this does for the future of the world. And I mean, like this, is this something that helps global warming? Is it, where do we see this in 10 years? What is the use case?
Okay, so we're really under energy transformation in the world, right? We need to change how we do things. I think there's many reasons why we need to get off of fossil fuels, including climate change and the limited amount of fossil fuels and pollution and whatnot. So the one way of doing that is to use renewable energies like solar and wind, but of course solar and wind aren't always on. They're not necessarily, making electricity when you need it. So the holy grail for making renewable energies large scale is really a way of storing the energy. So you can put it back on the grid when you need it, where you need it. And that's why we need very, very large batteries, if you will. And flow batteries have certain advantages relative to conventional batteries like you use in your cell phone, lithium ion. Flow batteries are quite different, and they have advantages for this very large scale energy storage. And that's what motivated us to work on that. And that's what Vionics Energy is, installing in the field now, as these very large-scale batteries that are partnered with solar farms, partnered with a wind turbine, and demonstrating that we can indeed take wind or solar energy and put it on the grid when the grid wants it and when the grid needs it.
Excellent, excellent. As a side note, we're going to shoot B-roll after this of you guys, but do you guys have any images of these things being, on a wind farm or
Yeah, I mean, well, I would really love for you to be able to use the images that Vionics has on their website.
Okay.
And I can either provide them or you can get them off the website. We can get permission if you need that from Vionics Energy.
Yeah, we probably will.
And that's important, right?
Just
Because
an email
that's
that
what
says
this
something.
award is, right? This award is about co-developing with them
Exactly.
these large-scale systems which aren't here. But there are 3 of them in the field so far. And here we could show you, like, you know, the scale we started. So these little tiny things, and then you can show, you know, look at these batteries are like the size of the building, right? So it's quite different. But that's all we have here is lab scale.
Excellent. Well,
Yeah.
we'll see that
Okay.
and the pictures. We can get.
Sure, yeah.
So, all right. So, what does this mean for UTC as a whole? What does it mean for UTRC, this achievement?
Well, I think this shows that UTRC first can go into a technology they never worked on before, like flow batteries, and leverage knowledge that we had from things like fuel cells, and leverage knowledge that was here that had nothing to do with fuel cells, like Wayne Lee's transition metal expertise we used in flow batteries, because, you know, in fuel cells we don't do anything but hydrogen and oxygen making water, and this is quite different. As we scaled up, we found we needed all kinds of computational fluid dynamics, and our team member Malcolm McDonald, you know, brought that skill sets and solved multiple problems as we scaled up that Vionics ran across. And so, you know, I think that's the first thing. It shows that UTRC has a diversity of skill sets and experience and capabilities that you can bring to the table, and you can enable you to go all the way from a concept to a product intent. The other thing this has done is shown that we can actually create technologies here that, you know, we think the business unit's interested in, and then things change as they do in companies. And in this case, the business unit we thought we were going to hand this off to was sold. So we created a whole new path to market. We, you know, actually licensed this to a startup company, like I said, that was specifically created to commercialize this technology. And we have now, for the past 5 years, worked hand in hand with them and helped them to, you know, bring this to the market. So I think it's shown that too as a very innovative business model, where the innovation was happening at the large company, and the startup company was actually doing the more, you know, I guess, routine things, if you want to call it that. But, you know, product development, although this is not routine, because this is really a disruptive technology, right? We're trying to disrupt the status quo and how we do things on the grid today and do them in a different way, and that's Vionics' challenge. And they have the advantage of a startup company, right? They're really, really focused on that because that's their survival. And so they have that focus, and we can bring the skill sets they need, the technical skill sets they need whenever they need them. So
That's excellent. I mean, this is really great, especially, you know, the timing couldn't be better, really, right?
yeah, yeah.
And so, in terms of that, I mean, is this an industry leader? Is this where, you know, where we're headed as a world, maybe, to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I believe we're really at the cutting edge with Vionics and doing what's called long duration storage. So a number of years ago, there were no batteries on the grid. The only way you stored energy on the grid was literally to pump water uphill and then put it back downhill when you needed it. That's called pumped hydro. But batteries have been installed on the grid now for short duration storage, meaning like 1 hour at rated power. And that's lithium-ion batteries, but megawatt size and big containers. But what's really needed to transform the grid is long duration storage. And when I say that, I mean things like where you're discharging for a period of 4, 6, 8 hours at rated power. Think about trying to run the grid all night on solar. You got to go all night. So you need to store massive amounts of energy. They have to discharge for long durations. They have to do that every day. They have to cycle without fading. And all of you battery consumers know that your lithium-ion batteries do fade with time. These do not. So this is the cutting edge of where we need to go to make you know, renewables really shine and be, you know, capable of supporting a massive amount of our needs, is long duration grid scale storage. And Vionics is right at the cutting edge. So much at the cutting edge that I think the customer, the utilities, don't quite know if they want to buy these yet, because it's not what they've done yet. So we're still trying to, you know, develop and show and prove the business case. And then once that's done, then I think these things will take off.
How big is the team, and how long has this project been going on?
This team started in 2009, in the sense that was just a concept. We had no flow battery capabilities. And actually in 2010, we won an OAA as well for disruptive new technologies. This one's for co-developing a technology, right? So two ends of the spectrum from very low technical maturity. And the team's always been on the order of maybe like 6 to 10 people. It kind of varies with size. It's interesting to note that back when we got the 2010 award, the only 3 of us that were on it were the same 3 you're filming today, myself, Wayne Lee, and Chris Shovlin. Every other team member was different, and that's because people come and go, but it's also because our skill sets that we need change as we evolve the technology from, low maturity to higher maturity. We found we needed other skills. And I would actually say that there's a lot more people that have supported this project over the years. They're not on the OAA award just because they weren't full time or spending as much time as the dedicated teams. But the dedicated team's on the order of 6 to 10 people.
That's good. And how proud is the team to be winning this award after 10 years?
I think this is a great achievement for the team and recognizes all their innovative work in both technology as well as business. Right, so we've done this in a different way than typical, meaning handing off to a startup company, not handing off to a UTC business unit. We've created a very differentiated flow battery technology. It's been recognized outside. One of our funders over the years has been ARPA-E office, the Advanced Research Program Agency office of DOE. We're actually starting our 3rd ARPA-E award on flow battery technologies. After we completed our first one, which started in 2010, ran until 2013, they labeled our project Breakthrough Flow Battery Stack. So they have recognized the team's development as a breakthrough in this technology. We are recognized as one of the world leaders now, this team in this flow battery technology, and that's evidenced by the fact that we've gotten 2 more awards from ARPA-E, and we also are part of the DOE's battery hub run out of Argonne National Lab, and they have some research on flow batteries, and we've been instrumental in helping them understand what we need as industry to make these things commercial.
Fantastic. Is there anything you thought I was going to ask you that I didn't, or anything you wanted to say that I didn't give you the chance to say?
No, I think I said it. I mean, maybe I'll just say it maybe a slightly different way, right? I think what's really cool about this team is really not just the technology strengths that we've brought to Vionics Energy, but the innovative business model that we've brought, where we're partnering with a startup company and we're letting them focus on what they need to focus on, which is how to sell to the customer in a disruptive area, how to really create a brand new product in a brand new market, while we solve any technical issues that come up and keep improving the technology so that we can keep making it better and better, and the value proposition should get better and better, and therefore the commercialization prospects will continue to grow.
Excellent. Excellent. Mike, you're off the hot seat.
All right.
Wow.